continuing case of Troy Baker versus Gearbox Entertainment. This comes from GameIndustry.biz. Why did Borderlands 3 recast Troy Baker's role? So, of course, we talked about this beforehand, and we thought it was kind of over and done with. Cause,
look, Dylan, we all know why Troy Baker's role got recast. Gearbox heard
too many games.
Bitching.
It's just in too many games.
Just in too many games. Gearbox is like, man, we need to turn this around, guys.
We need to make a stand against Troy Baker in too many games.
I don't know what it sounds like. So we originally, because we talked about
by
this,
make a stand, we said save money.
When we originally talked about this story, it was because it was from when Troy Baker was here at Supernova, or what was it?
Yeah, so March, April,
March
like
Supernova, and that's literally where the story kicked off because someone during the audience asked, like, "Are you going to be reprising your role as was it Reese?
Reese in Borderlands.
Reese in Borderlands," and he was like, "Nah, they didn't ask me or whatever." I think he was trying to be coy about it because after the game's released, he's kind of, it seems like he's just more like, here's the dealio, like, you know, like, here's what happened. So,
I think Troy tried to be pretty professional about it and didn't want to bring it to light, and then I think Gearbox just kind of made the situation worse. Like, the statement they've recently released about this whole shit is so fucking, like, it's so passive aggressive. It's actually disgusting. Like, the final line is something like.
So what was the why don't you just read the statement?
Oh yeah. Well, firstly, Troy in an interview of VG247 said, "So Gearbox came to me and they were like, do you want me to do this?" Baker told the site, which he said, "Absolutely." And then they made it impossible for me to do the role. It had nothing to do with money. It had nothing to do with money. They simply would not go about doing it the way that needed to be done. So then it was like, I never said no. When asked if it was a matter of scheduling conflicts, Baker responded, "No, it was simply a matter of they wouldn't go union, and I can't do a non-union gig." Baker is a member of SAG-AFTRA, a union covering a variety of actors, journalists, singers, and other media professionals. SAG-AFTRA's rules state that members cannot work, quote, "for any producer who has not executed a basic minimum agreement with the union." Speaking with Polygon, a SAG-AFTRA representative said that Gearbox has refused and disengaged from talks regarding such an agreement, saying, quote, the misguided decision by Gearbox to deny their performers the opportunity to have fair union wages, a safe workplace, and the possibility of healthcare coverage for their families is unfortunate. A Gearbox representative responded to our request for comment saying, quote, "Troy is an exceptional talent, and we were disappointed that he declined to partner on Borderlands 3 after being offered the part. We wish him the best and hope he knows the offer to collaborate with him still stands. Gearbox is a Texas company and is bound by Texas law, which means that a person cannot be denied employment because of membership or non-membership in a labor union or other labor organization. As a talent-owned and talent-led organization, Gearbox enthusiastically works to ensure our pay and working conditions meet or exceed union standards." So reading between the lines, Gearbox basically says, our shit's good enough so we're not signing any union standard bullshit. They're like, our shit is up to date. And we're not.
I don't know if you're gonna read it, but the finishing line is fucking disgusting. Like, so the finishing line to that statement is, "We also believe strongly in hiring local voice actors whenever we can, which is why we were thrilled Troy's career really took off after working with us." Like,
well, you know, it was Tales of the Borderlands. No one heard of him before then.
Did he work with them though?
Like,
I mean,
Telltale
it was like it was a Gearbox was involved.
So
in
garbage. Like, just this, like, to almost kind of underhandedly take, claim for Troy Baker's success as a fucking voice actor. That's disgusting. That's fucked. I'm gonna throw my glass again. Fuck.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting story, and it all kind of makes sense now. Like when you add up the fact, because Troy was. When the whole X amount of years ago, because people don't think about voice actors with union stuff much anymore. Because most of the discussion in the games industry at the moment is about developers getting unions and rights and so on and so forth. But there was a time period, in case you aren't aware of this, like around the time, whatever year.
Last year?
was earlier than that. It was around the time that Life is Strange.
It was either this year or last year or the year before.
It was
because before the storm.
It was
Life is Strange before the storm because Ashley
couldn't reprise her role.
Ashley Johnson. Birch. Yeah, Ashley Birch couldn't do a role because
they went on strike. Voice actors did, like video game voice actors went on strike for a period of time, and that was around the time they were developing Life is Strange before the storm, and that's why we have a brand new voice actor for Chloe in that game. So that's why that happened. But then the strike was over by the time they did the DLC, which is why she returned to voice Chloe in the prequel DLC thing. So people always like to say that that game's shit, and like it proves it was shit because Ashley wouldn't return to do the voice acting, blah blah blah. It wasn't anything to do with her thinking that the script was bad or anything. It was literally because they were on strike at the time.
It was also the same year that Nolan North gave the speech at the Game Awards about it. I can't remember.
It was years ago.
It was. It wasn't that long ago. We were doing content about it at the time.
2016 to 2017. Yeah. It was started on October 2016 is when it started. So we wasn't doing content.
What? Why do I feel, that's really confusing. Interesting.
So it was they went on strike, and it's just another interesting thing, because we don't talk much about voice actors and unions and these sorts of things. We always cover stories about developers and stuff, but that's because voice actors did actually work out unions and all these sorts of things a couple of years ago. Not to say they all have it worked out and everything's pitch perfect, because obviously it isn't when you still have companies like Gearbox who appear to be like, hey, Troy, come do this voice. And Troy's like, sure, no problem. Just have to, agree to these terms. Nah, fuck you. Like, we made you, mate. You wouldn't be no one without us. Which is what it sounds like has happened there. So you have to wonder. It also makes me wonder, like, as much as you could, maybe the reason was Ciaran's whole mid-topic for Gears the other week, like, we don't see, and then we looked up Nolan North and Laura Bailey and all these people. It's like, well, actually not in that many games. It's like, I wonder how many people have tried to get them in games, or do parts. Yeah. And we're like, nah. And they couldn't do it because of the union stuff.
But it's also, respect to them for, especially them being some of the largest voice actors in the industry right now. It's really good to see them publicly standing behind the union and publicly representing voice actors and them getting the fair, the rights they deserve.
It's like, why go on strike in the first place if you're not going to stick your ground?
Well, yeah,
push comes to shove type thing. And also, Troy's big enough that it's like, I didn't get paid to voice the character in the Borderlands game. He's like, I'm fine. It's not going to suddenly...
Oh, shit, I tripped over 20 other
games and
auditions for games or, offers for games. Shit.
What was that? 50 emails just came in asking me to be a voice in the game? Oh, yeah, so...
I got asked to go to another country's Comic-Con.
Yeah.
With this
one says in bold, we support the union.
Yeah, so that's... And I mean, Gearbox is still going. It's so funny because, Borderlands is obviously out now. Users are playing it. People are playing it. It's a game. It exists from everything I gather. Users like it. Everyone loves it. But it's still post-release. Randy Pitchford is now getting into other trouble. This stuff's coming out.
You know what he was thinking when he saw this story post?
Why Troy Baker would fuck him like that is beyond him. That's what I reckon.
I was so disappointed when I read that statement as well from Gearbox is I fucking am enjoying Borderlands so much, and then to have them do something like that just puts a bad taste in my mouth about it, that I don't want it to affect how I feel about Borderlands 3.
Well, yeah, there's certainly, I think you can say for sure that everyone working at Gearbox ain't saints. I'm sure there's lots of great people there, but there are key players that we do know are cunts.
Oh god!
Just to boil it down. So let's move.